Hey everybody. Right now I'm out in the woods behind Whitehaven Memorial Park in Pittsburgh. Probably not in the section I'm supposed to be in, but you know what? I'm not hurting anything. I'm not hurting anybody. And we're here to bury my friend, or was right. What's left of her. Didn't get a chance to do it when the incident occurred because it was winter time basically. So now that it's no longer winter time, there's plenty of bushes and stuff around to cover me. It's time to bury Ruth. Here's her plot. That was her sister's plot. You probably can only see the marking on the tree, but there's the R on the tree. There's the marker for the old site. That was for Ruth, a rose. This will be for Ruth. Lovely amount of little roots in the way. I forgot about the roots that would be there. So I try not to damage the roots. When I realized I was hitting a root, I kind of stopped digging around, so I wanted to bury next to her sister. Anyway, let's pause this and get her in, shall we? Okay, so that didn't take too much of effort to get her. Well, she's not fully in the ground. I mean, she's not buried yet, but I wanted to let you guys see. Well, it's not the loveliest picture, so if you're kind of squeamish, she's been in the freezer, so she's mostly preserved. Her face did get kind of poofy, I think. Probably when she was dying. She died of old age as far as I can tell. Guys, she was 3 years old. They only live through about an average of 3 years anyway. So she lived about 6 months after her sister passed. I think it was probably a good length of time. So yeah. Anyway, I'll just show you real quick what she looks like in the ground before we cover her with the dirt. Anyway, so here's the mounds of dirt I have ready. And here she is. Here's her back end right here. She's still pretty soft. There's her face real quick. I wanted to put her under the root so she'd be harder to get at by animals. So we're gonna pause this again, cover her up real quick, make sure it's nice and tight, and then we're gonna transfer the old covering onto her, so no animals can really get at her. Hopefully, looks like there's a big cinder block of some kind I can probably use, maybe if I'm lucky at getting it out of the ground. Okay, I'm not anywhere near the cemetery. I mean, they do have a pet burial area, but I don't got that kind of money to spend on a proper burial. So this is way back. This is like in the back end of nowhere. This deep in the woods. So it's kind of on the property, but it's off trail. It's not like anywhere near the official area. And in fact, you can tell because of this reason here. See this thing, this old piece of garbage? That's why you can tell it's not anywhere near any place that anyone cares about, okay? So in case you're from Pittsburgh, New York, and you're like, hey, what are you doing over there? Calm down. I'm not hurting anything, except for possibly this tree. But actually, let me show you something real quick about the tree too, while we're at it. See these things? These things are attached to the tree, and I cut them a long time ago, because I think they were probably sucking the life out of the tree, so I cut them off the tree. And this tree is in fact sprouting. See that little bit of green right there? This tree's alive, so we're good. So let me pause this real quick and cover her proper, okay? Be right back. Well guys, it's probably my finest burial site yet for a pet rat that I've had. I've had rats since I was like in middle school. I think 7th grade. I remember my French teacher, you know, nice guy. You could tell he cared. You could tell he was worried. I had scratches on my forearm, right, from the rats that I had back then. They got little nails, you know, kind of like cats, but they can't retract them. Razor sharp too when they're babies, so they scratch a bit when they're climbing on you. French teacher says, "Hey, I want to talk to you." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Is everything going okay at home?" And I'm like, not wanting to share with the world I had pet rats. I'm like, "Well, what do I tell him?" So I'm like, "Oh, you mean this?" I told him the truth. So I mean, "Oh, you mean the scratches?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I got pet rats." So anyway, guys, 40 years old now. I've had rats since then. You do the math. Average of 3 years each. Been a lot. There's a new site. So I actually found a metal piece like this one over there. So I left this one alone. I put the new piece under here, and I thought see this part right here? I thought that was like a little rock, but it was actually connected to a huge slab that was right there. You know, so I just picked it up and there you go. I found these pieces here buried in the ground under here, so I figured I can use them as markers now. Same color markers. There you go. That'll get cleaned eventually from the rain, I suppose, so that's okay for now. That one's pretty clean somehow, as is, I don't know. Anyway, 2 sticks for, anyway, not a new stick, but it's nice and tight this time. This one was not so tight. I didn't bury this one with the rat. This one I did. I dug it, put it in there before, right? So these are like all over the place. Some kind of weed, I believe. They're all over the place, so I just clipped a couple with my pocket knife and boom. Any animal would have a hell of a time getting in there. They had a hell of a time getting in there, so that's it. That's the tale of Ruth and Rose. Got those guys about 4 years ago at this point. They were great companions. Rose died during the summer of last year, and it was pretty tough because I think it might have been a heat stroke issue, and after that she kind of went downhill real quick. They're used to being kept downstairs in the basement with me, but upstairs the heat rises and it got very hot in that room. I tried a frozen water bottle trick in the tank, but that didn't really work too well. Didn't work perfectly anyway. Anyway, her sister lived 6 months later, or 6 months more, dying over the winter time. So I kept her in a freezer in a plastic bag. Nice and solid, nice and tight. And now they're buried together behind Whitehaven Memorial Park in Pittsford, near the tree with a little R on it. R for Ruth and Rose the rat. There we go. When we're back here, I'll probably put a few more of these weed things on that one too, in memorial. I know most people would probably say, hey, why don't you just, you know, dump them in a garbage can or something. People don't dump their dogs and cats. These are like my little dogs and cats. They meant that much to me. So anyway, this has been the burial and the showing, I suppose, and the funeral all in one. So sorry there's no drinks. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. I'll be back on later for more Interstellar Pilot, more no packs. So don't worry about that. I've just been distracted watching this guy play Happy Wheels. Gray still plays. If you want to laugh your booty off and enjoy some fun gaming experience, you want to go there. Trust me. Good guy. Fun stuff. Apparently lives in Florida. Now it's time to get out of here before I can no longer enjoy my walk. See ya. Oh yeah. Questions, comments, constructive criticism down below, and 2021, no nuclear wars. It's the least we can do, right? See ya.